yourself. So I'm trying out again the live thing just to see how things are going. Today I've got some sanding to do on the Mandocello, so I figured since I'm going to be working in the shop late at night, I might as well have some company. So Friday night, once again, the little one's in bed, so I'm going to get cracking on this. This week the video will be coming, but I've installed the backboard on here, and then I've got a little edge that needs to be sanded flush to the side. So that's basically what I'm planning on doing. Right now this Mandocello weighs about 5 pounds, and the finished Mandocello usually is like 6.5 to 7 pounds. So I think I'm on the lighter side at the moment, so I'm pretty happy about that. So I'm gonna get some material to put under here, protect it. So this week I didn't post a video yet because I worked on my website. I've got a lot of work to do on my website. I'm not very good with computers. It took me about 20 minutes just to get this live stream started. So, so yeah, I kind of give a facelift to my website. So I'm really happy with that. It was a bit kind of sketchy, I guess. It was old. There was a lot of stuff that was redundant, and I had some page I had to change, but yeah. Well, I'm glad, Adam, that you're enjoying the series from the Indianapolis. That's great. I've been having some really good comments so far on this build, so I'm really excited too. So feel free to post any question you might have. And then my computer here just died. That's not good. So at the moment I can't see your questions. So I'll start this one. I didn't want to have this one in the background, but just as a fail-safe, this one is old. So I should be able to be connected pretty soon. I apologize for that. That's the reason why it took me so long. This computer didn't want to load the YouTube page, so okay, let's see. All right, so I can see it here now. I'm just gonna have to turn around until this one reboots. Computers. Yes, I was able to remove most of the extra, but you always want to leave a bit just to be on the safe side. So I've got maybe like a fat 16 around, and the points are installed on this side and are shaped. So if you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, you've probably seen those ones already. British Columbia. I moved to British Columbia from back east, so I grew up in the province of Quebec. About 14 years ago, I guess, I moved to the lower mainland, which is inclusive of Vancouver, but I was in the suburbs. And then I lived there for probably 12 or 13 years, and my wife and I just moved to Vancouver Island, which is a lot quieter, and the prices for houses are a lot more affordable, so that's what we decided to do. So I'm about mid-island on the east coast of Vancouver Island. Well, have a good night, Seth. Thanks for stopping by. Well, let's see if this one's gonna work. All right. So this one seems that like it's rebooted. Yep, so I've got everything here. Alright, so I'll just keep that one open in case, but it's going to be less of a distraction to have myself in the background a bit later. So what are you guys up to tonight? On a Friday night? So page 07 said that it just finished installing the curving and installing the back on this classical. That's cool. That's cool. Once again, I got myself a little drink. Usually have a podcast or some music in the background, but it's kind of nice to be able to interact. I actually enjoyed it last time. Do I have project plan already when the cello is done? Yes. I want to make more prints available. There's a redundant question. I don't know if you've seen my 2x4 challenge built, which was a ukulele. And I keep getting questions if I have prints available for that ukulele. So I think I'm going to make another one and get prints made for that ukulele, and then probably make like other, I'm thinking probably like a baritone. And I also have a book. I never made a violin before, and I got a book, and I'm thinking maybe a book review for a violin building might be a good idea. That's if I don't get any customers coming in and saying like they want me to build something, because obviously I will have to prioritize that. But I'm hoping that those prints for the Mandocello are going to go well, and then that I'm going to keep adding prints into my web page that I've been working on in the past week. So hopefully that works out. Well, that was the first video you saw. That's cool. I didn't expect it to go that well, to be honest. I think the first part is like over 100,000 views, so that was a nice surprise. But it was a fun build. It took me about a month to do the whole build. part was a bit easier on the soundboard, like soundboard being a wood that's a bit softer, makes it a little bit easier to sand down. Maple is a bit more, is a little bit harder. Adam is asking if I would recommend starting with a guitar kit build if he's never built an instrument before. I would say that if you're already into woodworking, getting a kit is not really necessary. You just have to take your time with every step. There's going to be mistakes along the way. We all make them. The thing with kits is basically you get the parts that are already shaped and you just have to put them together. So it's like a little assembly. You don't learn how to bend those pieces, and that's actually the part that you need to get your skills. Like everybody can get a kit and put it together, and if that's the only thing you want to do, that's fine. But if you want to perfect your skill in making instruments, I would advise to at least try to bend some pieces and like fretboards, like you need to cut your grooves in the exact place. So if you get a fretboard that's already pre-cut for you, you don't get that skill either. So also my first instrument, well, the first instruments that I built were all handmade. So I didn't have all the drum sanders, I didn't have like planers, so everything was like by hand, and I've learned a ton, and I often go back to those tools. Like a lot of people would use a router to do that right now, but with a router, what I've seen is like sometimes you get chips, and then you end up having to fix that. But if you take the time to go with a sandpaper, you don't get that issue. It takes more time, but like the work is better done. So would I recommend starting with a guitar kit? It depends what you want to do in the future. If you want to build a lot of them, I would say no. If you just want to build one, probably, yeah. I haven't built a classical guitar yet. Ronnie Ramos is asking if I built a classical guitar. I have a book that I've read twice, and I'm really, really interested in trying one. But the thing is, I was more interested in getting a Mandocello made, and I probably in the future I will do classical. I don't think it's on my to-do list as of in the next few years, but it's still something, like the same thing with a violin. It's something that's interesting. I know I'm not going to play the violin, but like just to be able to say that I made one. So the classical is definitely in the future, but I've never built one. If I have any books of plans that I would recommend, I don't know if I have it here. Might be in the shop, in the house. Yeah. This book right here. I really enjoyed this book because it comes with more than one way of doing things. It's from Jonathan Kincaid. It comes with blueprints. Like there's more, there's different options. Like you don't have the one mold, you don't have the, like there's many options. So for a beginner, that's a very good beginner's book for an acoustic guitar. I would say like this is the first one I would say somebody should get. Some other ones that I have are from like earlier in time, and I guess they are harder to find. But they were still good books. Where is it? No, I think the other ones are in the house. But yeah, that one definitely is a very good one for guitar. If you want to get your hand to mandolin, there's Roger Siminoff that's got a good series of books. That one comes with the blueprints as well for an F5. You can buy the A5 drawings as well separately. But for the price, it's a no-brainer. It's a very good, those are very good books. And by all means, if you're in a place where they have like used books and you see a book for like $5, get it. Like the information in that book might not be in a different one, and like you learn from all those books. I've got so many books that I've got for like $5 or $10 off like a used shelf somewhere in like I used to live like I mentioned in the Lower Mainland, and we used to go to Fairhaven, which is close to Bellingham in Washington. And there was that old bookstore, and I was always able to find some Lutherie books in there. And I've got some like from the 50s, the 60s, and I don't keep those in the shop, but like I have them inside, and like the information there is priceless. Hey Bob, no, I didn't get an external mic because last time I ran out of battery. So I've got an iPhone 8, and I plugged in my charger, so I would not have that issue. So I don't have any other input for a mic. So what I decided to do is get the phone closer to the bench this time. So I'm glad to see that it's working. So thanks for the feedback. So I probably just save a few bucks right here. Ronnie Ramos would like to see the instrument close to the camera. Now my feed seems like it's frozen. I don't know if you guys' feed is frozen as well. Just check oh, it started again. Yeah, seems okay. So this is the back. And I've worked on the points. So you can see I put some ebony points here, and they're like shaped to the profile of the instrument. I'm sanding those right now, which is the edge that you can see right here. And then that's the front with the torrefied Sitka spruce. I still need to add a piece here for the fretboard and the fretboard extender that's gonna keep the fretboard in line with the rest. And then we have the peg head. Greetings, first time so thanks, Dad Gemmet. I'm glad you're enjoying the build series. feedback. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate. Building boats, I did a wood strip kayak in the past, but building a boat, that's something that I do have in my bucket list, one of those runabouts. I don't have a shop for it, and if I build one, I lose my workshop, so so it's not going to be for now, but building a boat would be something pretty interesting to me. So hats off to you. You're probably making some pretty good looking boats as well. Something that might be interesting for some of you is I posted on my social media a few pictures and a way to hold an instrument on the workbench. So those are rubber bands. I got those from StuMac. And basically, if you need to work on an instrument on your workbench, you just, it works for guitars too. You just stretch the rubber band and then you tie it up to the other side, and then it stays on its own. It's pretty sturdy, so you can like either use two hands to do something, or you can, like right now I could, like that, I could use that position to do a lot of sanding. Just another set of hands, so that's pretty good. Oh, I didn't know you could get. Christopher Page says that you can get those big rubber bands at Home Depot. So I didn't know. He says it's in the moving supply section. So I guess you can get just the one or two instead of getting the full pack of them plus shipping and everything. That's good to know. Yeah, I use those rubber bands, Christopher, a lot. Especially when you get like an instrument that's got like a profile, like a three-dimensional profile, and you can't really sit straight on the bench. So like right now I'm using a towel, but like it's gonna come to a point that I'm gonna need to hold it in some ways, and I find that those rubber bands are working very well. guys working on right now? You guys have anything special on your workbench? What types of finish? Amp squared. I'm not sure if you're asking what kind of finish I'm planning on, and to be honest, I'm unsure about that. What type of finish or stain are you going to do? Yeah, so I don't know. I honestly don't know. The wood that I've got is a torrefied torrefied Sitka top, and usually when you get a torrefied top, you want to showcase that. So I would like to go with a clear finish for that, but at the same time, I've got some really nice curly maple that I would like to pop the grain, and to pop the grain I need to put a stain on it. So I'm kind of in the undecided area right now. I'm really not sure. I want to keep a lighter color, but I might just go and put a stain on the top and just like forget about the fact that it's a torrefied Sitka, and just put some color and get like a more traditional looking instrument. But like I said, I don't know. I know for sure I want to go with a black binding all around, and like that's why the points are black. So that's going to be for sure, but I want to put the strings on and try it first, and do the binding after. So if there's an issue, I don't lose all my binding, like I can remove parts more easily without the binding and stuff. So for sure I'm going to put the strings on and try it, and then from there I'm going to put the binding, and then decide on the finish that I'm going to put. But I would like to pop the grain. I like when those instruments have like those kind of like darker and then kind of lighter in this area, but gets darker towards the points. That highlights the scroll, shows a bit better with like the difference in color and the stain. So when I do stains, I usually do leather stains and bleed them out with some denaturalized alcohol. So that seems to be the way I'm going to be going if I do put stains. Even if I go light on the outside and don't touch the top, I might do that as well. Just leave the top clear and just like pop a little bit of the grain for the curly. But that's just stuff I'm thinking about. But the binding for sure, black binding, that's been ordered, and actually I have received it. So. Wow, like a lot of people are building stuff. That's cool. So we've got Roy Ramos is building a 7-string classical guitar with a Sitka spruce top, and then Christopher building a spruce and Safaspra classical guitar, and then the Dirty Knobs is building a pine Les Paul, weighs about 3 pounds. That's cool too. Yeah. Thanks for sharing all that with me. The last time you guys were here was pretty similar. I was carving the back. There was a lot of intensive work, and now I do another live stream with sanding. Well, I guess it's easier a bit to. I'm still I don't have my glasses, so I'm still looking at. I have to stop to look at the post of everybody. I've got the fretboard right here, so it's Bullwhip Johnson says that he can't wait to see the fretboard, so I'm planning to do like a mother of pearl block inlay on it, and then do some binding, black binding on both sides. So that should be pretty snazzy. I'm looking forward to have the strings on, to be honest. Adam is asking if I follow other YouTube builders. I follow, I'm on a Facebook page, it's called Unplugged Luthier, and I also am on the Luthier Collective. Those are two closed groups that you might try to get accepted in. But as for other builders, I sometimes watch Rosa. I forget his first name right now. But I like, depending on the builds that he's doing, not the builds, but the fix that he's doing. There's also another fellow that was here, Dave Nichols, is building right now an ES335. He was here at the beginning. I don't know if he's still there, but that's somebody that you might want to, Jerry Rosa. Dave Nichols, he's building an ES335, and I think that's going to be a pretty cool build, so I started watching that. There's another fellow I've been watching. He's, for some reason, I think his channel is Two Cherries. He seems to try to do everything with the CNC, which sometimes, like he was doing a violin and he was doing the scroll on the head of the violin, and it seemed more intensive, more complicated than if he would have done it by hand. So that was another one that, but other than that, I watch mostly woodworking channels and like community stuff, and so I don't really look at a lot of YouTube in that respect. I do watch YouTube in other means, like podcasts. Like I watch, I just dropped my block here. I do watch the Joe Rogan podcast and that kind of stuff. So that's often in the background. Some video of Crimson guitar. I might watch a few of those, but I like to follow other builds, so that means that on YouTube it's pretty easy, not on YouTube, on Facebook it's pretty easy with those groups that I mentioned, which is Unplugged Luthier and Luthier's Collective. It's pretty easy to see what people are making. They post pictures, they talk about subjects like that. So, and then there's the Mandolin Cafe, obviously, that they have all those threads, and so a lot of reading compared to the watching videos, but yeah. And then there's Matt Cremona, that he's going to go to Crimson Guitars to build a guitar. So I'm looking forward to see that. Matt Cremona, I think he said it was going to be his first guitar. So that should be interesting. Yeah, I hope he's gonna make a video. That'd be good. Like, he usually makes videos and stuff, or takes snippets. When he went to that chair seminar, he actually made some video snippets, or we could follow on his social media. So I'm hoping he's gonna put some snippets of his guitar build on there. That'd be really cool. So Bob is saying that Pablo Requena from Madrid has a ton of instructional video regarding classical guitar. Probably gonna have a look at him. Hi Dylan, welcome. We have a night of sanding. So unless there's questions, I'm sanding. I guess I could try the tuning fork. I don't know how the camera is going to pick it up, but I've been pretty happy on how it sounded here in the shop, but I don't know how it's going to come out on the camera. That sounds really promising in here. Got a good vibe, good response. I can feel the instrument is vibrating, so that's pretty cool. What kind of sanding sealer do I use? I usually go straight with color, so I'm going to sand most likely all the way to 400, and that's if I apply leather dyes. Then I seal with a diluted coat of leather dyes, like the lighter colors, and then I can see if I have scratches or whatever, and then I can go and clean that up. And then once that's done, I just continue on with all the colors. and then I would go either with the French polish or with the lacquer in that respect. But I don't really use a sealer per se after I'm done with the 400. Don't I use a mask for sanding? Usually I do, and I also have like a dust cleaner, like an air cleaner for the shop. I just find that sanding and trying to answer questions, and so that'd be kind of awkward. So that doesn't make a lot of dust. Like if it would be the whole side, like sanding the whole side, that'd be a different story. I wouldn't make a live stream of that. I would be wearing my protection, but just like sanding the little bits here and there, I don't wear a mask for that. No. Adam is wondering if there's a certain part of the build that I like most, like the carving or the inlay or the finishing. There are parts that I like less, like carving the back, because that was painful. But I do enjoy every part for their own respect. What I like the most is seeing how every bit fits together when I took the time to work on each part individually with the best quality that I could provide for that. I like to see an instrument in many builds. So if you do the soundboard, that's a completed build in that respect, but then it's a part of a more intricate build. So I always do my 110 in every part of the instrument, and I think the part I like the most is when all those parts are coming together, if that makes sense. Is there parts that I like the most? Trying the instrument. I guess that would be the best reward. And like with this one, I can't wait to hear it. I really can't wait. Hopefully everything goes well when we get to that point. But I think I enjoy every part the same. I think, yeah. Rone said that the part he likes the most is building the top. I do enjoy the top as well. How do you calibrate your plates? Do you do like a tap tuning, or you just do like an audible vibration response, or how do you? I guess it's kind of hard to put a comment there, but I'm just curious if you have like a certain technique you use for classical guitars. Yeah, tough for you also, Bob? I do like carving the top because they go so quick. Like even this one, even the size of it, it was pretty quick to carve the top. Was that probably like a fifth of the time it took me for the back. And the back was a monster. Hello, viewer number 10, Michael. Feeling the rigidity, use Spanish, motor voicing top, or tap tones. Okay. Cool. I was reading an article today about that nothing had proven, I do tap tune my own instruments as well, but this person was saying there's nothing proving the validity of spending the time of tap tuning an instrument. And although the article was pretty interesting, and I forget the name of the fellow that wrote it, because I'm just like that, I forget names very easily. I was kind of in disagreement with the fact that when you tap tune the plate, like even though I tap tune this one, it might not be the optimal tap tone for this one, and time will tell with that. Like this one I have take notes about where this one sits, and if I like it, I can put the next one back to where this one is, which tap tones enable you to do. But if I don't like it, I can remove more wood and go see the next step lower if I enjoy that sound a bit better. So in that respect, I believe that his article was not really portraying that, but yeah, I thought it was an interesting article nonetheless. So Adam saying that he's been doing some French polish on some furniture, and he's been enjoying the looking new again. Yeah, I really enjoy French polish, and the more I do it, the more I enjoy it, because you don't have all those lacquer fumes in the shop, and you don't have all that overspray everywhere. It's very like I can open like partly my overhead door, or like close it, or like fully open, and it doesn't matter. And the finish applies quick, and it dries quick. It gas off pretty quick too, and yeah, it's just a fun, a pleasurable process to do French polish. Yeah, same for me here. Like Ronnie says that for him it's just a way of reference, and that's what I do too. Like whenever I finish an instrument, I've got all the specs of the tap tone. It's not per se to tune the instrument to a note or whatever. It's mostly for the rigidity of the plates, and to get like if you have a good sounding instrument, you can go back to the exact, well, somewhat same sound with the next build, because you have a point of reference, because you tune all your parts. Yeah, that's why I do it too. another article for archtop that it's similar to tap tuning, but it's, and I'm not sure who wrote that once again, but it was about deflection. So basically what they were doing, they had the strings on top of the instrument, and the back wasn't attached, but they were able to put some pressure on here and see how it deflected with like some little like gauges. And then when they had the proper deflection, that's where they stopped carving the back brace. So that was another way, by measuring the rigidity of the plate, basically, to have another way of tuning or maximizing the response of your plate. But then again, you have to build quite a few to be happy with what you have. So once again, it's just a point of reference. So Bob's saying that his understanding for the tap tuning is that you produce a tune that is even. That's what I try to do when I tune a plate. Like, so when I tuned the back plate, I tuned it to no sharp nor flat. It was +1 -1 on my stroke tuner. But that doesn't mean that the whole instrument is tuned perfectly to a note. In the way that I interpret it, it seems like Ronnie's the same approach, is that when you're happy with what you have and the instrument sounds great, when you end up building the same instrument, you can go back to your notes and achieve a similar response by tuning your parts the same way you did previously. So I don't think it would matter if it was off by 10 or 20 cents, as long as if you're happy with the response of your instrument, the next one after, you put it at the same 15 to 20 cents that you had recorded in your notebook. Anyway, that's how I understand it. And at the same time, like for those of you that's been following the series, I have a Vierzy in there, and there was no way for me to tap tune it. Like, there was no way my computer would even consider hearing a vibration for a small plate like that. So I went with the 12 to 17% of the weight of the soundboard, and my soundboard is already torrefied Sitka, so it's already lighter because more moisture has been removed from it. The Vierzy is built from the same wood. So for that one as well, it's lighter, and I was sitting at about 13% of the mass of the soundboard when I glued it in, and then after that I went and removed a bit of the centerpiece and the edges just to give it a bit more. So I don't know exactly how many grams, maybe 2 more grams, 1 or 2 more grams that I removed from it, but I was a bit happier with putting the tuning fork on it and the response I got. But once again, it was not from the tap tune, it was from an audible vibration or response to vibration that I tuned the Vierzy on it. Well, James Bell, I'm happy that the videos are helpful to you, and I hope you do get the sting of building more instruments. It's really fun. Yeah, I read something, Ronnie, about if you tune all the parts of the instrument into like a certain note, they would become wolf notes, which means that they will owl a bit more. So from the literature I was able to, and I think it was in Roger Siminoff Art of Tap Tuning book that I read that, it highlights the notes because all the parts will respond to like an A, for example. So if you have like a D and then your tone bars are like a full step apart, but like it would be a C and a D or whatever. So they would all kind of be off a bit, but you would not have that one explosive note. So that's something I do try to do, try to stay away from having like the same note during the whole build. Another thing I do is I try to replicate a bit of what Lloyd Lohr was doing, and he used to tune his parts at 432 hertz. That's before the concert pitch was changed to 440 hertz. And then at 432, you're a quarter step lower. So by tuning all your strings at 440, but the body being a quarter step under, I find that that prevents a lot of those wolf notes, if you want to call them like that. Your English isn't bad. I'm French myself, so I can relate. Yeah, I find that Ronnie's saying that tuning, tap tuning a top is harder because it's not just two tone bars, and I can totally relate. It's really, really hard to isolate a certain group and then try to hit, because whenever I hit, like even the backboard, there was no tone bars and it was handheld, and sometimes it was hearing the actual plate, sometimes it was hearing the overtone, so you kind of have to target the one you think is the proper one, and then go from there and then adjust, and then when you adjust one, it changed the tonality or the actual resonant frequency for the whole plate. So as soon as you remove the wood somewhere, it changed it at the other end. So with all those brace on a guitar top, it is really, really hard. Hi, Marcel. If you guys don't know Marcel, Marcel just joined us. He's the fellow that I did the collab video for the YouTube real-time live count, YouTube live counter thing, and then I'm missing 4 and I get to 13,500 subscribers. So Marcel's got a good video on how to on his channel. How you been, Marcel? The Stanley 112, I already had one, so I just got that rusted one just to do a refurbish. So that's mine that I've been using for years, and that's the one that I refurbished, and it's on eBay right now. If somebody's interested into buying it, yeah. So I put it on eBay, and if it doesn't go there, I'll either keep it here or I'll put it on the Facebook Marketplace or whatever. But I do have my own, and that's a gift, so that one's not going anywhere, even though this one's nicer. I'll keep the one that was given to me, and this one's going to go